Good day everyone. Our topic for today is all about measure of variability and group data. Okay, so let's talk about measure of variability. Standard deviation, measure of dispersion around the mean. Variance, the square of the standard deviation. And range is the difference between maximum and minimum number. Now, let's talk about first the range for ungrouped data. How to solve? The range is the difference between the highest value, HB, and the lowest value, LB, in the given distribution. Formula for the range is HB minus LB. Example. So there are scores of 5 students in spelling. 11, 8, 12, 9, and 10. The formula for the range is highest minus the lowest. What is the highest score? We have 12, and the lowest is 8. So 12 minus 8, 4. So that's how we solve for the range. Number of items sold. So example, number 2, we have 19, 20, 21, 23, and 22. So what's the highest number? 23 minus 19. The answer is 4. The range is 4. Now, for the average deviation of ungrouped data, the average deviation is a measure of variation that takes into consideration the deviations of the individual scores from the mean. So the formula for the average deviation, or AD, equals summation of the absolute value of x minus the mean, or x bar, over n, where AD is the average deviation, summation of absolute value of x minus x bar is the sum of the absolute value of x minus the mean, n is the number of sample size. So example, these are the scores of 5 students in spelling. We have 11, 8, 12, 8, 9, and 10. The summation of x is equal to 30. So what is summation of x? That is the total. So 11 plus 8 plus 12 plus 9 plus 10 is equal to 30. So for the mean, to get the mean, so just divide summation of x divided by n. What is summation of x? That's 30 divided by n is 5. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 30 divided by 5 is 6. So that's the mean. So for the mean, 6 is the answer. So we will just put 6 in all of this. Okay? Next one is we will subtract x minus mean. So x minus mean. 11 minus 6, 5. 8 minus 6, 2. 12 minus 6, 6. 9 minus 6, 3. And 10 minus 6, 4. What if the answer is negative? Since it is absolute value, we're talking about absolute value, so there's no negative sign. Okay, even though the answer is negative, we still write positive sign. So we will add them, and the total is 20. So that's the summation of the absolute value of x minus the x bar. When we are talking about summation, that's the total, which means total, okay? Now, from the formula that I showed to you a while ago, we have this one. For the average deviation is equal to summation of the absolute value of x minus the mean over the n. N is equal to 5. That's the total number of items. So we have 20 divided by 5, and the answer is 4. So therefore, the average deviation of the scores of the 5 students in spelling is equal to 4. To understand it better, let's have another example. Example number 2, these are the number of sales. So we have 23, 3, 16, 4, and 9. And the total of these is, or the total of x is 55. Now, first, we need to get the summation, the mean, which is equal to summation of x, which is the total, minus the number of items, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 55 divided by 5 is equal to 11. Therefore, for the mean, we have 11. So we need to put 11 in all the items. And then we will have this absolute value of x minus the mean, which is 23 minus 11 is 12. 23 minus 11 is negative 8, but again, there is no negative here. And then we have 5, negative 7, and negative 2. For the absolute value, so we will add all of this. So we have 34 as our final answer. Okay, because 12 plus 8 plus 5 plus 7 plus 2, even though they are negative, we will add them. So the answer is 34. And then, for the formula of the average deviation, we have summation of the absolute value of x minus the mean over n. N is equal to 5, and the summation of the absolute value of x minus the mean is 34. So we have 34 divided by 5, and the answer is 6.8. So therefore, the average deviation of the number of sales is equal to 6.8. Next, we have the sample variance for ungrouped data. So we're talking about the variance. For the variance, we have the formula s squared equals summation of the quantity of x minus the mean squared over n minus 1, where the s squared is the sample variance, the summation of the quantity x minus mean. There's no absolute value here, okay? Squared is equal to the squares of the x minus the mean, and n is equal to the sample size. Okay? Now let's have an example. For the scores of 5 students in spelling, we have 11, 8, 12, 9, and 10, and the total is 30. So that is the summation of x. Next, we need to get the mean. So it has a connection with the mean deviation, if you can see. So we have mean equals summation of x divided by n. The total number of n is 5. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 30 divided by 5 is 6. So we need to put mean and then put 6 numbers here. Next, we have the summation of okay, so we have the x absolute value of x minus the mean. So we have 11 minus 6 is 5, 8 minus 6 is 2, 12 minus 6 is 6, 9 minus 6 is 3, and 10 minus 6 is 4. Then the summation of the absolute value of x minus the mean is equal to 20. Next, we need to get the x minus mean squared. So in short, this one will be squared. So 5 times 5 is 25. 2 times 2 is 4. 6 times 6 is 36. 3 times 3 is 9. And 4 times 4 is 16. And for the total, we have 90. Okay? So we have 90 for our summation of the quantity of x minus the mean squared. Now, we have this formula. So, it will become 4. Paano siya naging 4? How this one becomes 4? Okay? Because we have n minus 1. And since our number of n is 5, we have 5 minus 1, so the answer is 4. So, we have 90 divided by 4. And the answer is 22.50. Round off your answer to nearest hundreds. So, that is now our variance. Okay? Now, example number 2. Number of sales. So, again, we need to get the mean, I mean. So the mean is 11. I already discussed this example. So we have 11 as our mean. And then get the summation of x minus the mean. And that is 23 minus 11 is 12. 3 minus 11 is negative 8. 16 minus 11 is 5. 4 minus 11 is negative 7. And 9 minus 11 is negative 2. And the total is 34. Again, this is an absolute value, so there is no negative sign here. Next, for the quantity of x minus mean squared, so we will square this one, okay? We will square this particular column. So we have 12 times 12 is 144, 8 times 8 is 64, 5 times 5 is 25, 7 times 7 is 49, 2 times 2 is 4, and the total is 286. So now we have this formula and we have this one. Again, maybe you are thinking how it becomes 4 because we have n minus 1. Our n is 5, so we have 5 minus 1 is 4. The total is 286 based on our computation. So just divide the two and you will get this number, 71.50. Round off your answer to nearest hundreds. Therefore, the variance of the number of sales is 71.50. Okay? And finally, we have here the sample standard deviation for ungrouped data. For the sample standard deviation, just square root the variance. So where S squared is the sample variance, SD or S is the standard deviation. Okay, so this is our computation a while ago, okay, for our variance. So the variance that I got is S squared equals 22.50. So just get the square root, okay? Just square root this one, okay? So when you squared the square root the number or the letter or the variable, we cancel 2. So it becomes S only. And the square root of 22.50 is 4.74. That's why the standard deviation of the scores of 5 students in spelling is 4.74. Another example, so in our previous example, we have this one, and our answer is 71.50 for the number of sales. Now, get the square root of 71.50 on your calculator, and you will get S equals 8.46. Round off your answer to nearest hundreds. So that's all about for the measure of variability for the ungrouped data. Thank you very much for listening.